Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's a CHGO Cubs pregame show podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo. It's been a while. A little bit.
Days.
Does seem like a while, doesn't it?
4 whole days. That was the longest weekend we'll probably have the summer.
That is. Aaron says he agrees with me, and I haven't even said anything yet. But I appreciate that, Aaron. Matthew Gregory looking for the vibes. Shane says bet the house on it tonight. Cubs win.
Because he's there.
Because he's there.
Yeah.
Man, it was a rough, no way to sugarcoat this. Rough road trip.
Rough road trip.
Rough road trip. Cubs now 20-26 and on pace for a 90-loss season. I don't want to bring the vibes down, but they need a good homestand.
Well, the vibes
They need some home cooking.
You can't bring the vibes down any more than they already are stuck. This team at one point was what, like 12-7? Now they're 20-26.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I felt good after the Friday win. The Friday win, I was like, all right, we're in Philly. We're playing a team that I feel like we're close with in terms of how they're playing right now. And
dominated last year.
Yeah, technically won 7 straight against them before Saturday. Then Tyone didn't have a good start. Was awful. His worst start as a Cub, no doubt. And then, of course, Sunday you get a great start, but you don't score any runs. And going up against a guy with a 6 ERA who was on short rest, and I don't know, baseball gonna baseball. Doesn't make any sense. So now, you're back home after a 2-7 road trip, and you got the Mets and the Rays coming in Memorial Day weekend. I mean, you're not gonna. The thing is like you're not gonna get back to 500 in one game. So you just gotta chip away. If you're David Ross, if you're in the clubhouse, that's all you can tell the guys. And I mean, listen, I know the big thing right now is for sure the bullpen, but you're getting really good starting pitching, and for the most part, the offense has been okay. But have they been good with runners in scoring position? No. So they got to get better at that. And Cody Bellinger being out doesn't help. But I don't know, man. I was telling our guy Big Dave from CHGO Bulls when they were done with their show, and I was sitting on the couch. I was telling him, I was like, I'm like the guy in the water right now, that's just like barely, like my head is barely above water.
Doggy paddling. I'm gasping for some air.
I'm gasping for air. I am
taking in some water. It's coming out your nostrils a little bit.
Yeah, I'm about as dead inside as any other Cubs fan right now. But hey, yesterday the Cubs didn't play a game, and they gained ground in the division because this division stinks. The Brewers lost. They're playing the Astros this week. Cardinals lost to the Reds in extra innings. I still think this team, as bad as they've played, to be only 4.5 back in the division is wild, but also a gift. And so, the Cubs have to start playing better. They got to start doing things they were doing in April again. Hopefully the home cooking, like you said, Luke, starts that tonight. Yeah.
Hey, Rhonda, what's up? Evil Wax 73. Robert asking about Senga. I believe he's supposed to now pitch tomorrow. I do not know why he's not pitching tonight.
They wanted him to have extra rest.
A little extra rest.
They've been doing that all season with him. So,
Craig says not sure why PCA hasn't been in the lineup recently, but he's in the lineup for the Smokies tonight. That's always good news. Evil Wax still believes in this team, so there's still some faith out there, right?
Evil Wax. I like the mentality.
Listen,
it's a long year.
In pregame interviews that Ryan has been sending in, Ryan Herrera's at Wrigley Field, and he'll join us for the postgame show, which we hope you will too. It sounds like they're owning up to it. They're taking accountability. Jed Hoyer basically says the bullpen problems are his fault because the moves he made in the offseason haven't turned out like they have in some other years so far. And David Ross says, thank goodness for the crappy play of the rest of the division that we're still in this thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's honest, but what is it, 4.5 games?
4.5.
You better turn it around pretty quick.
Yeah.
You better turn it around pretty quick.
You absolutely got to start winning ball games, or else you're going to find yourself 8-9 games back. And
I can't handle a 90-loss season.
I can't honestly, do it either.
I know we started doing the stock up, stock down, and we were doing like get to the magic numbers, get to 63 wins or whatever last year. Yep. I can't do it. Craig Brindle says, I agree with Jed. It is his fault.
As far as the bullpen, right, at this point, yeah, it is. And, hey, I give him credit for having some accountability about it, because there's a lot of teams in this city, I feel like, where their front office don't want to take accountability for some of the things that don't go right. So, credit to him. But at the same time, they got to figure out the bullpen. I thought the bullpen, the process of it on Sunday, how they went about it, was fine. Albert Alzolay is the one who gave up the homer.
Yeah.
Sunday's game, you're probably more just mad at the offense for not scoring runs. Albert Alzolay's been the best reliever in the Cubs pen more often than not this year. You got to continue to run him back out there. He's been good against lefties this year. That is what it is. But I think Corey and Brennan talked a little bit about it on the Sunday series recap. Is we need to see Estrada get some more high leverage innings. He's barely been using high leverage.
I'd like to see more
the most high leverage you want to call it with Estrada has been the Cubs being down a run or two, They're not putting him out there with a lead, and I would like to see them put him out there with the lead. I also would like to see Nick Birdie and Merriweather continue to progress like that, because they had great innings in that blowout on Friday. But Merriweather, I think Brennan tweeted it on Friday, like he's been really good overall, since those first couple weeks, and they're going to need him to be better. Or continue to do what he's doing, and they're going to need Nick Birdie to, eventually get some higher leverage innings too, to help, because obviously Fulmer ain't getting it done. Boxberger's on the IL, and I think a lot of people are kind of out on him at this point. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about Boxberger. But eventually they will have some guys from Iowa come up. Daniel Palencia sent to Iowa today.
Birdie hit triple digits.
Fastest pitch since 2016.
I'll take that.
So, yeah, they have some guys down in Iowa, but either way, they need the guys that are here to start producing. They got to pitch well in high leverage moments, and I think they have some guys to do it, but they just need more consistency out of the bullpen. And again, it's surprising to me that the bullpen has gone this way, considering what we've seen the last few years. But at the same time, you got to score runs. And they didn't score runs on Sunday. Got to score runs tonight. Get Drew Smyly a lead, and don't blow it like you did on my birthday.
Rhonda agrees with us about the bullpen. Craig says, this is live. Where's Barbara? Debbie says, the cracks in the roster just starting to show. Very nervous of what's going to happen the next month. Here's a sign of hope. Here's the sun rising in the horizon. Look at the Mets. Mets and Cubs had the same record not too long ago. The Mets were kind of a laughingstock after all the money they spent in the offseason. They're up to 25 and 23. They've won 5 in a row. That's what the Cubs need to do. Mm-hmm. They need to string together a winning homestand.
Yeah. Reel
off 4 or 5 straight wins, and you'll feel better about things. All of a sudden, you're back at the 500 mark, and you're like, what Niren was saying in the chat. Niren says 18 games is the magic number to get to that 80 mark point, and then you reassess the team. I'm willing to wait 18 games to reassess the team if that's how you want to do it. I'm getting closer and closer to the point where the mirage was the beginning of the season, and this may be more of the reality. And if that is the case, then play the young guys. So we've seen Hosmer move on, right?
Yeah.
So show me Estrada. Mm-hmm. Show me other bullpen arms that are young. Palencia upgraded to AAA. If that means you're going to get him up here this year, get him up here at some point this season. Don't. I'm glad Mervis is here. I'm glad they finally got Morel here. We've talked ad nauseum about whether or not he has a position to play. He's got a position to play in the lineup somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, in the lineup. And he's up to number 5. He's got 8 homers in 11 games. Frankly, what he's done power-wise since coming up is
unreal.
Right? Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And so I know he strikes out, and I know he doesn't have a perfect position, but if this is the team, and they are going to be on pace for 90 losses. Ugh. I don't know if I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but if they are, then he has to play every day regardless in my mind. But then I'm starting to put him out there in the field and force him to find a position.
Yeah.
Find the best position for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that he's DHing tonight.
Me too.
Because I like
for now.
The one positive I took from Sunday, honestly, was Tachman. I thought he had a nice catch in center defensively, and then he worked 2 walks, so he had good at bats. And he had a stolen base. The only thing he did wrong was get thrown out on a pickoff play. That was the only thing he did wrong on Sunday. I think he worked good at bats, and in Iowa this year, he's hit well against right-handed pitching. So in the meantime, while Cody Bellinger is out, I don't mind Tachman getting a few starts in center field, right?
Frem's finest.
Right. And, so I like Tachman being in the lineup tonight. I like Morel DHing in the middle of the lineup where honestly, I've been screaming for it for, honestly, at least the last week. And I was a little surprised to see Mervis batting 9th, but I'm also not against it because I think with him there and Nico after him, I think that could help him. But what do I know?
The least amount of pressure he could have.
Yes.
They moved him down and stop worrying about driving in a bunch of runs. You're down at the bottom of the lineup.
Right.
And we'll see what you can do down there. Robert Starnes has a hypothetical for us. Quarter of the way into the season, Cubs are going to have to start making some pitcher moves eventually. Dylan Cease to the Cubs for Brendan Davis and Cade Horton. Thoughts? I want to see what the Sox guys think about this.
I don't think the Sox would do that.
Brendan Davis and Cade Horton.
For who?
For Dylan Cease.
Hey, Sean.
Throw it out there to him.
Would you trade Brendan Davis and Cade Horton for Dylan Cease?
I don't think they know who
Cade Horton is a first-round pick from last year.
They're shaking their heads. They said no.
Yeah.
Top pitching. The Sox guys are saying they won't do it.
They said no. Vinny said no.
And Niren says they would never do it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's enough, Wex. You're probably right.
You probably got to give up a little bit more. Speaking of
we could throw Win Madrigal.
Speaking of Cubs and White Sox trade, though.
Not that I want to.
I was listening to our friend of the program, Greg Huss's podcast, Cubs on Deck. And he had Alex Cohen on their show, and they were talking about Bailey Horn, the guy they got back for Ryan Tepera.
Yeah.
And he's a lefty, and I can't remember exactly what Alex Cohen said, but he said something along the lines of like he's ready to be in the majors. So
Bailey, do I make you horny?
I'm just saying.
Be the second one.
I feel like he's one of those guys we could see soon. So, and he's a left-handed pitcher, and they need that. So, I don't know.
Well, the rumors will all start. I mean, you've seen them out there on Twitter. The Cardinals for Shohei. You hear people talking about, well, the Sox will sell some of these guys. Well, frankly, guys, if this continues to start going towards a 90-loss season, then the Cubs flipping guys will start to come up again. The Stroman, you won't hear as much talk about extending Stroman as you will. What could you get for Stroman if he's pitching this well?
I still think if they're just a few games under 500 at the deadline, they ain't gonna do a complete sell off like they did last year in terms of like
unless the offer's too good.
Deals. Unless the offer's too good.
Unless the offer's too good and they don't think the guy's coming back.
I still think that no matter what, they should keep Bellinger. There's obvious scenarios to why you wouldn't, but he's proven to be back. He's proven to be a very good player. It's not his fault he got hurt. He made an unreal catch and came down the wrong way, I guess. I'm sorry. I guess I should blame him for that. I don't know. But he's young, and there's a reason that they should honestly, he should be part of what's going on here, in my opinion. I don't want to talk about trade deadline, but obviously there's a handful of guys that you could probably move for like really nice pieces, but when do the Cubs if the Cubs are really serious about 2024, like you can only move so many guys, in my opinion.
Right, you can't just tear it down to the studs again.
Yeah, you can't
because look how much money they spent this offseason and there's still holes on the roster. That's what we were saying. Like everybody wanted them to sign one of these massive free agents, and they did in the 7 for 177, but they still have not signed a $200 million player, a $300 million player, a $400 million player. The problem with signing one of those guys is they've got too many holes to just sign one guy for that much money. Yeah. Now, maybe they have the money to do it all, but like there were a lot of holes on this team. A lot of those holes are going to have to be filled with guys that are already now in the farm system, in the organization. Listen, I don't know if Tauchman is. I don't know that Tauchman is a long-term solution.
No.
But right now, he's helping you out. It's nice to give him a shot for when Bellinger comes back.
Right. Well, PCA
I'm fine. He's a real outfielder.
PCA,
and he's done a nice job so far.
PCA is the guy in center field sometime in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
But will he be ready for opening day 2024? I don't know. Will the Cubs want him to get extended look in AAA? They haven't sent him there yet. He's still in AA. You know, like there's all these questions about PCA, not necessarily the play, but like the Cubs' path. Like where do they see him being on the roster at the beginning of next year? I don't know. And so that's why I look at Cody Bellinger as a guy who's like, well, even if you do bring up PCA, you can still play Bellinger at first base, especially if the Mervis thing doesn't work out. And we're going to find out about Mervis the rest of this year. So I mean,
play him every day.
I don't know. It's a very tough position. That's why the Cubs need to start winning games so we don't have to sell at the deadline. Thanks.
So we don't have to do the stock up, stock down graphic after every game. Although we might start doing it now anyways, just for fun. Because that's what we like to do.
Don't make that joke. It was a brutal. It was a fun but brutal bit. Stuck.
Could come back. In some form, it could be back. Who you got to be back. It's coming up a little bit in the show. Shane says, Eva Wax doesn't mean Mervis is blocked. Cubs don't have a true DH. They might if Christopher Morel turns out to be that guy. If Morel doesn't have a position and you think he's below average, he's athletic, but he's below average at a lot of positions. He could be your DH and fill-in guy instead of utility guy playing a different position every day. That could be his role. I don't know. But if he hits 8 home runs in 11 games, he's going to be in a lineup.
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised they haven't given him a shot at third base.
Well, I think that's a decision that's got to come too.
Yeah.
If Wisdom had a spectacular April, but if you don't view him as your long-term third baseman,
which they don't,
maybe not.
When you say long-term, we're talking about next 5 years, in my eyes.
Right.
Morel's 23.
You're right. So if that's the case, you got to start getting him more play at third.
And I'm just
said, we both said,
yeah.
I believe you agree with me on this. For me, if you're playing Morel, it's at 2 positions right now. I don't need to see him too much at second. I know he can play it, and Nico is there. Yeah. I don't need to see him play short because I think he could play it, and Dansby's there for a long time.
Yep.
I don't need him in center because PCA is the center fielder if it's not Bellinger for the long-term future. But we don't know about third base. And if he can find a way to play it, I can live with some of the strikeouts and a young player over at that position long-term. Doesn't mean you're getting rid of Wisdom. I'm just saying DH and third base are the 2 spots I'd like to see him play. More often than not, and I want him in the lineup every night.
Yeah. And again, with Wisdom, he's so matchup-based, man. And that's why he's, first off, he's been struggling the month of May. He hasn't been very good.
Right.
He had a hot April. He brings a power threat, all that. I still think that his best role is somewhere near the middle to the bottom of the lineup. And, depending on the matchups, he can be a successful player. But, yeah, I mean, you got to get Morel in there every day, and you got to have him in the middle of the lineup. And, if you do care about the long-term success of him, I think you got to just see if he can play. I know you're playing Madrigal and Mastroboni there, Wisdom there, obviously, but, I don't know, man.
Matthew Gregory says nobody expects Wisdom to be here for 5 more years. No, and I'm saying you don't have to give up on Wisdom's bat. He can DH. He can be a pinch hitter. He can play third base. But I would like to see Morel play it a little more often than he is.
Right, which is not at all.
Which is not at all. And I would like to see him focus on that position. Mm-hmm. I'm sort of past, at least for now, he's the Swiss Army knife. He could play anywhere below average.
Yeah.
Because I just don't.
It's going to be interesting when Bellinger does come back and he takes over center. And as long as everyone else is healthy.
And I want him at third and DH.
Then it's like, where else do you play him?
That's right.
Third base or DH. So we're going to see whenever Bellinger comes back. So, of course he gets called up, and of course Nico and Bellinger get hurt, and he's playing all over the field. He's playing left field because happening an off day, whatever, all these things. But whenever this roster's healthy, he's playing third or DH with an occasional maybe center, maybe second base to give when you want to give Bellinger or Nico a day off, whatever, something like that. But yeah, that's just the way that I see it.
Barb, we are live, dead inside sometimes, but we are live on the set right now on the YouTube.
We are live.
This is live. Gary's always pumping Slaughter. He says he's the utility
Slaughter.
knife.
Yeah, he's having a good season down there in Iowa. I don't really know. I don't know how many at-bats they want him to get. I feel like he's a guy we could see in the second half of the year.
Niren's asking the much wider question. At full strength, is this team good enough? Good enough to do what?
Make the playoffs?
Make the playoffs? I'm still not really. I'm still because the division is so outrageously bad. I mean, if Morel hit with 3/4 of this power and was your DH, and they did fix the bullpen with some of these young arms, and you continue to get the starting pitching, and Bellinger's healthy and does play like the guy he's been, then I can't rule out that this team could flip it around and have a hot streak just like they had a cold streak. Do I think it's better than 50% that that's happening? No. But I'm not saying it's impossible.
Yeah, I mean,
they do. Craig's right. They do miss Bellinger right now.
It makes me feel
just
good.
like they miss Nico.
It makes me feel good that the Padres have the same record as the Cubs right now. So it's
been a lot of dough.
It's early, but it's not early. But also, the entire National League, honestly, outside of the Braves,
yeah, nobody's running away with this division.
Is not very good right now. So obviously, the Cubs need to get it going, and hopefully that starts tonight, man.
Cody, what do you have going for tonight? You sprinkling a little cash on the gambling?
Oh yeah.
By the way,
I'm red hot right
outside of the Cubs pick, your DraftKings pick of the night, do you like the Heat to sweep the Celtics?
I do. I'm taking them. I'm taking Miami minus
a double
1.5
sweep.
tonight.
You think it's a double sweep?
Yep.
Boy, I got to tell you,
It'll be the first time ever.
I didn't see the double sweep coming, and I still think, even though I think Jimmy Butler's great, I don't think it happens tonight because I don't think the NBA wants a week off before the NBA Finals. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose their juice. Those officials are going to be calling pro Celtics tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What are you picking for the? You got a hits parlay or something? For us?
I do have the hit parlay. I'll give you 2 picks. All right.
You won big on the weekend, right?
I did. I won $150 last night. I had LeBron 35 plus points
Cody
and plus
Del
600. It was a great win. My favorite part of LeBron's
Swept.
career.
Yeah, he's Michael, all right.
So the hit parlay is Morel, Pete Alonso, and Nico Horner, plus 280 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, my one single play of the night, and I've been blindly betting it for the last week because he is red hot. Morel over 1.5 hits plus runs and RBIs at plus 100. At even odds.
What is he to hit a home run tonight? Because I got
Plus
a little
500.
Oh, so you got some tingles on that. I think
He could do it. Doesn't matter if the wind's blowing out in or out.
What
with
was
this guy.
5 straight games?
4? That was 4.
Home run for Morel?
I think he's homered in 4
Would
straight
this be
games.
5 tonight,
Yeah,
though?
this would be 5
is what I'm saying?
tonight, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I wonder how the chat feels about that.
I'm gonna take that. I'm also taking McGill under 4.5 strikeouts. He's gone over 4.5 strikeouts one time this entire season. So I like the Cubs to at least put the bat on the ball tonight against him.
Very good. I like those picks. Play it out. I might, if I can get the app open and time by the end of the show, I might do a little.
Turn your Wi-Fi off because for some reason DraftKings doesn't want to work in our studio.
Well, we've got our Wi-Fi set up funny. Well, I'll get it to work. But you know me,
I'll help you.
I like to heat my dinner first. So if I don't get my dinner heated, then
yeah, I'm looking forward to the spaghetti.
At my age, you got to eat by 6 o'clock, or it's just not going to settle right.
Yeah.
All right, who you got?
Who you got?
Oh, I should point out, please sign up to be a diehard. Ryan's out at the ballpark working hard, writing these great articles. You get access to all of them. And Jared, any baseball articles we write, any articles we write, all the Bears stuff we're doing. allchgo.com. If you sign up to be a diehard, you have access to everything. Nothing you can't read. There's some stuff that goes behind the paywall. So diehards are going to be taking over Wrigley on Sunday, says Gary Ross. Appreciate that. You get the diehard box. You get the diehard card, which, I mean, who doesn't want a diehard card? You throw that all around town and you're a big deal. You get the sticker package. You get a free shirt, which, by the way, one of our 3 new Cubby shirts at the CHGO locker. You can just pick one. I tried to break the streak. Started with a homestand with the CHGO Bricks and Ivy. First time I've worn this baby. Right here.
It's a nice shirt. I'm wearing just a regular CHGO shirt tonight.
You could get that one too.
But, yeah.
So, and if we win tonight, Cubs win, Cody's breaking out the beer bat.
Speaking of being a diehard, there's people in the Discord that are talking about going to beautiful historic Wrigley Field this weekend.
That's what Gary's talking about, I think.
They're all meeting up to, hang out. I'm in
CHGO gear, I hope, fellas
I sure
and
hope
ladies.
So. I'm going in the game Saturday with my girlfriend and her family.
That's the Reds, right? This weekend's Reds, yeah?
I think so, yeah. Or the Rays.
I just said that like Kendall on Succession. Yeah?
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the diehards. I've met Gary already at the Bears draft party. But anyway, looking forward to meeting some of the other ones.
Baby. Diehard, so worth it. Got the amazing Ivy shirt and diehard card.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Hashtag vibes.
You walk into Wrigleyville, you go into a place like Murphy's and you throw down that card.
Drinks on me, diehard.
It's like somebody put a spotlight on you.
Absolutely.
It's the vibe spotlight. Just like everybody turns and looks.
I mean, I would be walking right down to the first row behind home plate. Sir, you can't sit. CHGO diehard. Step aside. Step aside, Wrigley Field usher.
Yep.
You see the card?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Get out of my seat.
One of those blue hairs that doesn't want you to go to exactly your seat, and they're like, "This is where you have to sit. Please don't walk here." Just flash the card.
Diehard.
Yeah. It's like an ARP card to them. You just flash that diehard card.
These are all facts.
I could have both.
All facts.
Yes, Barb. We'll be on live. Go ahead and heat up your dinner. It's okay.
Yes, we'll be on it right after the game, Barb.
Who you got? Pre-game standings, I'm 13-29. Ryan is 12-32. Corey, 10-32. Cody, 8-37. Brendan, 2-8.
Yikes.
Tonight, I have Mr. Morel.
Not a bad one.
He was left over. I was the last pick. I'm like, nobody took Morel.
I was actually
going
surprised.
for 5 straight homer games.
You forgot to put Brennan up
You
there.
went Taubman.
Joey, but it's all good.
You
I
went
went Tauchman because I'm trying to manifest
I didn't even
the win.
realize that Brendan. I got to redo the template now. That Brendan.
Yeah,
Brendan was in.
Brendan is allowed to be on it now. Yes, I went Tauchman because he had good at bats on Sunday, and like I said, he hit well in Iowa against right-handed pitching. And I like the spot he's in the lineup to maybe drive in some runs tonight. So, and I like the defense in center field. So, God, manifest.
Come on.
If he has a good game, I think the Cubs win.
The Mets have won 5 straight. Morel has homered in 4 straight. Which will end tonight? Or will neither? Or will both? How do you feel on that? I think Morel homers and the Mets lose.
You could bet that on DraftKings Sportsbook if you wanted to.
I just got to get my dinner heated first, and then Ravi's here for pregame. How about that? Gary says we need some CHGO hats and sweatpants.
I agree, Gary. I absolutely
Gary,
agree.
are you a joggers guy or you want sweatpants? Joggers have been very popular. Robbie agrees with me in all caps.
I'm a joggers guy.
Barbara
personally.
says if they win, Cody and Luke switch clothes.
No, we will not. No, we will not.
I don't
but
think
Barb,
I'll fit in Luke's clothes, to be honest with
Barb,
you.
by the way, Cody is wearing pants, but I am not wearing socks. How about
Wow,
that?
Look at that.
How are you not wearing socks with those shoes?
These are super comfortable without socks.
What are those?
I don't usually
what
go.
Are those Allbirds?
They are very comfortable with no socks, right? I'm not a no socks guy.
Yeah,
The
you
feet
can wear
don't-
you can wear Allbirds
They're,
with no
they're
socks.
like wool.
Really? Okay.
They're wool on the bottom. They're no, like a soft wool, dry.
All right.
Anyway,
Craig says Talkman
Yeah.
is the pronunciation
yeah,
for Tauchman.
Talkman.
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 I'm
it
sure I
sounds-
did it wrong multiple times. I apologize.
Former Yankee.
Former
Yeah.
Fremd Viking.
He is a former Yankee. His best year was with the Yankees.
Yeah, he was good with the Yankees for a little bit.
Yeah. Last few years hasn't been doing much. But off to a good start on Sunday, I thought. So we'll see what happens. At least for these few games without Bellinger.
This is an uncaffeinated peach tea, Robbie. Because my allergies have been destroying my voice every day for the last 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
Started already. All right. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs pregame show. Podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. We'll be back here live, Barb, right after the game. Hope to see you then. Until then, fly the W.